formatting, conditional formatting means. And then we'll go straight to it and see what it stands for. So please, if you have our data set, if you have your data set on, please leave it and just follow me and see how your conditional formatting works. So conditional formatting is right on the menu bar. Conditional formatting is right on the menu bar. So when you click on conditional formatting, you are brought with there's a dialog box that comes out, and then you are seeing things like this: highlight sales rules. Like I said, conditional formatting deals with conditions. You have to give a specific condition before your formatting can be applied. And what do we mean by formatting in Excel? When you are increasing your font size, when you are increasing your font color, when you are changing your font color, when you are increasing your font size, those are formatting. Those are the special different kinds of formatting that are applied to your cells. Do you understand? But right now, we are not going to be doing that for those formatting based on specific conditions which you are going to give your data set. We are going to be formatting based on specific conditions which you are going to be giving your data set. So right now, we kick off conditional formatting. You're going to see it on the home bar. And then the first thing we are seeing here is highlight sales rules. Highlight sales rules. And the first condition we are saying is greater than. So what this means is that we are going to be formatting our cells. We are going to be formatting cells that are greater than a specific number that we are going to assign. Remember, I said conditional formatting means formatting due to a condition. So what is this condition I'm selecting now? I'm selecting greater than. So when I click on it, I'm left with this dialog box. This dialog box I'm shaking. I'm left with this dialog box. And then if you go through here, it's telling me format cells that are greater than what? Format cells that are greater than what? Please let me go back there in case you are confused. Now, the cells I want to format, the cells I actually want to format are average scores. I want to only work with average scores in this data set. I only want to apply my conditional formatting to the average scores in this data set. And because of that, I select the whole of average score. That is why you're seeing average score selected. And then I go to conditional formatting. I click on conditional formatting. Highlight sales rules is my first condition, and I'm selecting greater than. So now, when I selected this dialog box, Excel is asking me this question. It's telling me format cells that are greater than what? Format cells that are greater than what? So which cells do I actually want formatted? Which cells do okay, maybe I want the conditional formatting to apply to cells that are greater than 50. It's going to go through this whole average score column and look for cells that are actually greater than 50. That is my condition. So I like cells that are greater than 50. So I input 50 here. After that, I now come to this place. Now, what formatting do I want to give it? Remember, I said formatting can mean changing your color. Formatting can mean changing your size. Formatting can mean changing your font too. So here it is asking me, what formatting do I want to apply? And then I come here, maybe I select green fill with a dark green text, and I click on it. And then I click OK. Right now, all the cells in this column were selected and given that particular formatting because they are all greater than 50. All the cells were given that particular formatting I selected because they were all greater than 50. Please let me do it again for those of us that didn't follow. The first thing you have to do, you select the column that you want formatted. You select the column that you want formatted, and then you click on conditional formatting. Highlight sales rules. The first condition is greater than. When you click on it, you specify the cells that you want to format. You specify the cells that you want to format. Okay, maybe this time around, you only want to format cells that are greater than 80. I input 80 here. I want to format cells that are greater than 80. I input 80 in this box. Then I come to this other box, and then I choose whatever color I like, whatever formatting I like. Maybe this time I want to choose a light red fill. And then I choose that. And then I click on OK. If we go through this column, we are going to be seeing that only the cells that are greater than 80 are highlighted in red. You can see we have 82.7 here, 81.6. Only the cells that are greater than 80 are highlighted in red because that was the condition we gave. And we said highlight cells that are greater than 80 and give it a red color. highlight cells that are greater than 80 and give it a red color. Let me go back there and highlight and select another condition, another formatting. I come here, I choose greater than. So right now I want to format maybe cells that are, maybe now I want to change it to maybe cells that are greater than 85 this time around. Cells that are greater than 85 this time around, it should give it a different color. And then maybe I'm choosing yellow fill this time around. Cells that are greater than 85 should be given a yellow fill. And then I click OK. Now we can see our first formatting still remains in the sense that cells greater than 80 are still in red. For example, this 82.7, 81.6, they are greater than 80, they are in red. But I added a new condition, which was cells greater than 85. And then we are having the cell like this, 85.6. I said, give it a yellow color. And then we are having this. For those people that are saying I should go, I'm still going to repeat it as much times as you like so that everybody gets it. For those of us that are following, now I have two conditions already applied here. The first one I did was any cells greater than 80 should be given a red color. And then the second one was any cells greater than 85 should be given a yellow color. Okay, for the last time, I'm going to do it again. Right now, I've removed all the formatting. The column is plain. And then I come to conditional formatting. I click here. This is my first port of call. I like cells rules. And I'm selecting greater than. This is the first condition that I'm teaching you. My condition is greater than. So when I click on it, I am the one that is going to specify what number that I want to format. The condition, the argument that I want to, the number that I actually want to format, I'm the one that is going to specify. So I said, he's asking me, what cells do I want to format that are greater than? Which number do I want to use? So maybe this time I want to use 60. Or don't let me use 60. Let me use 85 again. So now I'm telling it to format only the cells that are greater than 85. Format only the cells that are greater than 85. And then after I've selected my number, I come to where I'm going to apply the formatting. Now, this is where I'm going to choose whatever format that I want to apply to all numbers that are greater than 85. So maybe this time around, I chose a red border. So that means it is going to apply a red border only to numbers that are greater than 85. So I click OK. So if we go through our data sets, we can see 85.6, 87.4, 85.6, 87.4 are all highlighted in red because they are greater than 85. That was our first argument. Please, for those of us raising up our hand, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions directly at the end of the class. So please let us wait for your towards the end of the class before we start asking questions so we can cover a whole lot of ground. So please let me go back there again. So this time around, I'm going to choose another rule. The first rule we did was greater than. I'm going to choose another rule, which is less than this time around. Less than. But please remember, the first thing you have to do before applying any conditional formatting is to select the column you want formatted. You have to select the whole column or else your conditional formatting will not apply. So the whole column is selected and then you come to conditional formatting. We've done greater than. So let us go to less than. Let us see how this works. We choose less than. So right now, we want to format cells that are less than 50 this time around. We want to format all cells that are less than 50. And then let me make it cells that are less than 65. Cells that are less than 65. And then let us give it a green fill. And then we click OK. Let's do that again. That didn't apply. Less than. So we said we are applying to cells that are less than 65. Okay, let me make it 70 this time around. 70. There are no cells less than 65 on this column. So let's make it 70 this time around. Cells less than 70. And then I'm choosing a green fill and then OK. So this time around, we can see all cells less than 70 are only going to be applied. That formatting is only going to apply. That green formatting that I chose is only going to apply to all cells that are less than 70. So conditional formatting is a good way for you to actually format your data. Let people know, okay, for example, now, if I'm a teacher and I'm about to submit my data set to maybe a superior, all I need to tell my superior is all the cells that are highlighted in green are less than 70. It makes for easier understanding. It makes for easier understanding. So we are still here highlighting cell rules, applying different rules to these conditions. So we've done greater than, less than. Now let us go to between. Let us go to between. Now, this one is going to be asking us to format cells that are between a particular number, that are between two numbers. For example, we can format cells that are between maybe 70 and 80 or 60 and 70, whichever way you like. It is your data set. You can apply any numbers. So right now, it's telling us format cells that are between what? Maybe we want to format cells that are between 70. You input the first number here, and then here you input the second number, maybe 70 and 75. And then let us choose a yellow field this time around. Let us choose a yellow field. Format cells that are between 70 and 75. And then we are giving it a yellow field. And then we click OK. We can see when we go through our data, all the cells that are actually between 70 and 75 are given that conditional formatting. Someone asked if you can select a row. Someone asked if you can select a row. Yes, you can select a row. For example, if I select these specific numbers, if I select these numbers from Chris Wilson, and then I want to apply a conditional formatting of greater than, and then I want to apply a conditional greater than of greater than, and I want to know which subject did this score more than 90, and I'm telling him, okay, give it a green field, and then okay, you can see it apply. What I wanted to know is this Chris Wilson in row 7, I selected his own test scores, and I wanted to know which of his test scores did he score more than 90, and I applied greater than row to it. So you can see he selected 97 and 98, showing us that these are the only two cells that he scored more than 90. Let me do that again, because someone is actually asking if it can be applied to rows. Yes, it can be applied to rows, and it can also be applied to columns. Now let me do a less than for this now. Let me do a less than for this. Now I want to get Chris Wilson. I want to know, did he score, which subject did he score less than 60? And then I want it to give a red text to it. Or let me choose a light red field. And then I click OK. So we can see two conditions in just this row. There are two conditions in this row. There's one condition formatting cells that are greater than 90. And there's one condition formatting cells that are less than 90. So for those, someone also asked, can it be applied to name? For now, I have not yet. I'm going to show you the one that you can use for a name. Right now, the ones that we are using only applies to number. For example, when we are talking about greater than and less than and between, it is only applicable to numbers. It is only applicable to numbers. I'm still going to teach you the one that applies to text. We are getting there. For now, we are still on numbers. It is only applicable to numbers. So the first three rules that I've taught you, which is greater than, less than, and between, are only applicable to numbers for now. So we still go ahead. We are still on conditional formatting, and we are on allied cells rules. We've covered the first three. Now we're going to the next one, equal to. We're going to the next one, equal to. We've covered greater than, less than, between. Now we're going to equal to. So what does equal to tell us? It is still the same. So it is still the same principle that applies. You just have to follow the rule. So right now, it's asking us, format cells that are equal to what? Format cells that are equal to what? So right now, this is very, very specific. You know, when we did greater than, we were asking it to tell us to format cells that are actually greater than, likewise for less than, and likewise for between. But right now, we are telling it, okay, format cells that are equals to. So this has to be an exact number. Okay, maybe format cells that are equals to, let me put, okay, maybe 81.0 or 81. Format cells that are equal to 81, and then give it a, okay, we've selected, okay, give it a red border. Give it a red border this time around, and then we click on OK. If you go through our data set, you can see this is 181.0 here that my mouse is on. If you see, this is 181.0 here. It was given a red border because that was the condition. That was the condition we selected. If we go through it and say any other 81.0, you will be saying, you will know that it is in this format. Now, a question that I was expecting people to ask is, can we apply all other colors? Can we apply all of, because we've just been applying, seeing just one, like few colors here. Let me go back there. For example, here, we just have like 5 or 6 conditions here for the formatting. For example, if I want to format it and I want to give it maybe a letter pink, a color pink or a color purple, there is no purple specified here. So how do I do that? How do I do that? So this time around, I go to custom formatting. Custom formatting is where I am going to customize my own colors, get my own colors that are not here that I actually want. For example, I use the example, I use the color purple, for example. There is no purple here, and purple is actually what I want to use to format my conditions. So I come to custom formatting. I click on custom formatting, and then and then it's going to give me something like this. So where I'm going is fill. I'm coming here, fill. I click on fill, and then I look for the color I want. Okay, I think this is purple here. And then I click on OK. And then I click on OK. So right now, my condition is format cells that are greater than, okay, let me make it 80. Format cells that are greater than 80, and then I click on OK. We can all see that my custom formatting, which is purple, now applied to all cells that are greater than 80. My custom formatting applied to all cells that are greater than 80. So I just wanted you to know that. I just wanted you guys to know that it is possible for you to also choose your own colors. So we move on. We've been able to cover 4 rules here, which are greater than, less than, between, and equals to. So right now, we go to another one, a text that contains. This is another rule, text that contains. But right now, because it is a text, this rule is only going to apply to a text. This rule is only going to apply to a text. So right now, we have to look for a column that has a text, and that is our student name. We have to look for a column that has a text, which is our student name. So we highlight our student name this time around. And then we come to conditional formatting, and then we go to that specific rule, which says text that contains. Which says text that contains. So now, what are we looking for? What particular text are we looking for? For example, maybe I'm looking for a student called David, or all students called David. All students called David. I only want to highlight all the students that are actually David, so that I'll be able to see them easier. And then I give them my custom formatting. Maybe I want them highlighted in green, and I click on OK. And then I click on OK, and then I click out. So you can see all students that has the David, that name, David, in their names will be highlighted. You can see there are many Davids in this particular column, and all the cells that has David were all selected, were all given that customized color that I chose earlier. So this particular conditional formatting, which says text that contains, only works with a text. Only works with a text. So the next one, a date occurring. A date occurring. When you choose this, now, unfortunately, our data set doesn't have dates on it. Our data set doesn't have a date on it. Maybe by tomorrow, I can come back to this and get a data set that has a date. But I'm going to explain how it works for you. Possibly some of us might want to try that out ourselves. Format cells that contain a date. So when you click here, it shows you different dates, different formats of dates. For example, the one is yesterday. The first one is yesterday. So assuming I add a date which had which is yesterday's date on this my data set. And then I click on OK. If I have a range of dates on my data set and there's yesterday's date on it, which is 3rd of October, it is only going to highlight 3rd of October for me. And it's going to give it any color that I choose, be it light red or any customized color that I choose myself. The same thing is going to happen if you choose any date here. We have today. So if you're having a data set that has a date column, and then you're having 4th of October, and then you choose today, and you click OK, only 4th of October will be selected in the whole column that has the date. So we have a lot here. We have for tomorrow in the last 7 days. So in the last 7 days, if you have maybe the whole date in the whole month, maybe the whole date in the whole month of October, or maybe September rather, it is only going to highlight the last 7 days from today. It's going to start counting from today and just highlight the last 7 days and give it whatever color preference that you may have chosen. So that is how formatting cells that contain a date work. Let us take the last one. The last one is duplicate values. Duplicate values. We all understand what duplicate means. Duplicate means copy. Duplicate means a copy. For example, if you have a book and you have another book that looks like it, that is a duplicate of your original book. So the last rule is telling us that it is going to highlight duplicate values. So now let us try that out. Let us try that out. I'm coming. Let us try that out. Okay. All right. Now we are going to be using our name, our student name, to try to highlight duplicate values. So we click on duplicate values, and then we're saying highlight duplicates, and then give it our custom formatting of probably maybe yellow, or yellow might be too, okay, maybe something like this. And then we click OK. And then we click OK. So right now we can see it is highlighting some names. And the reason why it's highlighting these names is because they are all duplicates. Let me prove that to you. For example, David Brown is in row 3. David Brown is also in row 6, which makes it a duplicate. It is appearing 2 times. That is what makes a duplicate. The fact that it appears more than once, it is already a duplicate. So that rule that we just did now formatted the whole column based on duplicate. It is going to look for any cell that was duplicated and actually highlight. You can see some names were not highlighted, like Mike Brown, Jane Wilson, Mike Johnson, because they only appear once. But names like David Brown, Sarah Taylor, Alex Miller, and so on and so forth were highlighted because they all appeared more than once. They are all duplicates. So that is the duplicate. That is how the duplicate function of this rule actually works. Let me go back there. Now, we are there. So it's actually, we've done duplicate. I believe you all understand duplicate. If I click on this arrow, it's giving me an option. So right now it's telling me unique. So which means I can choose to highlight duplicate values, and I can also choose to highlight unique values. The meaning of unique is, in this context, the meaning of unique is the name will be appearing just once. The name will be appearing just once. So right now, I want to apply another formatting to just unique values this time around. And then for my unique values, let me choose a custom formatting. Let me give them like this peach color, and then I click OK. And then I click OK. So now we can all see my unique values, the values that come once, that don't appear twice. Values such as Mike Brown, Jane Wilson, and Mike Johnson, I gave them a peach color. They were highlighted because I chose unique. Please let me go back there. I'm going to do this again because it's like a 2-in-1. It's 2-in-1 under these duplicate values. So I'm going to take that again. And remember, I said for you to apply any conditional formatting, your column or wherever you want to apply that conditional formatting has to be selected. So we are applying to the student name. That is why we are selecting the whole column B. So we go back to conditional formatting. We are still in the first one, highlighting cell rows, and then we're coming to duplicate values. Duplicate values. The first there's a drop down here. You have two options, duplicate and unique. You have two options, duplicate and unique. Like I explained earlier, duplicate means a copy appearing more than once, and unique means just appearing once. So we are going to apply formatting to these two. We start by our duplicate. So duplicate, let me give it a red text. It should be written in red. And unique, I want it to be written in maybe to have a a green background or a blue background. Okay. Or a blue background. And then I click on OK. And then I click on OK. My unique, and I click on OK. We can see all the unique values, the values that were only appearing once, the values that only appear once were given a blue color. So now let me go back and do the same thing for duplicate this time around. For duplicate values this time around. So for duplicate values, I want them in red. And then I click OK. You can see this particular column was formatted just using this cell rule, duplicate values, but it has another hidden row, which is unique. So this row is like this column rather is showing duplicated values and the unique values. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of of conditional formatting. If we take a look at the slides here and look at the definition, it tells us conditional formatting allows you to apply specific formatting to cells based on their values, making it easier to identify patterns and trends in your data. So for example, this makes it easier to explain your data to someone in the sense that if you're having a friend that is taking a look or maybe you're sending it to, all you need to tell the person is, oh, okay, all you need to tell the person is that, okay, the cells that are applied that you see highlighted in red, they are actually duplicate values. You'll be coming across them multiple times. And the cells that are actually highlighted in blue are unique values. You only see them once. So the person you are giving your data with this kind of information immediately understands what to do with this. You understand? It saves the person a whole lot of work, a whole lot of hassle, because it has already been highlighted based on the conditions. All right, so at this junction, we're still moving on. So we've completed the first part, which is highlight cell rules, and we've been able to finish everything. So now we go to top bottom rules. But before we go there, if you want to clear all formatting, maybe you don't want to format your cells anymore, you want to return it to how they were before, you want it to be plain, this is where you do that. You come down, clear rules. You come to clear rules to clear all the rules that you've applied. So you click on, you come to clear rules, you follow the arrow, and then you click clear rules from entire sheet. Clear rules from entire sheet. You click on it and you can see all the rules we've applied, be it unique, be it duplicate, have all been cleared. So you now have to start inputting or applying new conditions. Okay, all right. So we're going to the next set of rules, which is called top-bottom rules. Top-bottom rules. So now we're going to start with the first one, top 10 items. Before I do that, let me highlight the cells I want. Okay, let me go back to my average score. And then I come to conditional formatting. Top-bottom rules. So the first one we're having there is top 10 items. Top 10 items. So what this condition is going to be looking out for is the top 10 items. And right now we are dealing with average score. So it's going to be looking at the top 10 average scores. It's going to go through it and just apply our conditional formatting to just the top 10 items. So let us try that out. Let us try that out. So this is highlighted. Like I said, the first thing you have to do, you have to highlight wherever you want to apply your conditional formatting to. This is highlighted, and then you come to conditional formatting, top, bottom rows, and then we click on top 10 items. So when you click on it, it brings out our normal dialog box. Right now, you have the power to actually influence this conditional formatting in the sense that I can choose any number that I want to show, as top. Right now, the default number is 10. I can say, okay, no, I don't want top 10 anymore. For now, I just want top 5. I only want to get the top 5 scores, the top 5 average scores. I come to this arrow and I toggle. I can choose to input whatever number I wish, but I want to work with top 5. So I give it top 5, and then I come here, the same thing. Maybe I want to apply my custom formatting. I want to choose a dark blue this time, and I click OK, and I click OK. If you go through our data, you can see some cells are highlighted in dark blue. Those are the top 5 cells in this data. Those are the top 5 cells. And if you count it, they are all 5 in number. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is 5. So it only highlighted only the top 5 numbers in this average score column. The people with the highest scores have been highlighted. Please let me do that again. Let me clear my formatting and do that again. Let me take that again. Conditional formatting. We are talking about top-bottom rules. We are talking about top-bottom rules. And our first action here is top 10 items. Our first action here is top 10 items. Like I said, it is only going to be highlighting the top items. And it is you, the power lies with you to select as much as you want, the numbers that you actually want. So right now, let us actually use 10 this time around. And then we choose, maybe, okay, let us choose a green field this time around. And then we click on OK. If you go through your data, you will see that some numbers are highlighted. Those numbers that are highlighted are the top 10 average scores. And they will not be more than 10 because that is what you specified. They will not be more than 10 because that is what you specified. So now let us go back there. Let's go back to our conditional formatting. Remember, we are in top-bottom rules. Now, from this top 10, let me teach you bottom 10 now. If you can show top 10, you should be able to show bottom 10. And we have the functionality here, which says bottom 10. So we have the functionality here, which says bottom 10. And then we click on it. So right now we can see it is boldly written here, format cells that rack in the bottom. In the bottom what? You can choose whatever number that you want to specify. Maybe bottom 5, bottom 3, bottom 2, or bottom 1. But let us leave it at bottom 10 because we have already shown for top 10 already. So for bottom 10, let me give them a red. They should be highlighted in red, and then I click OK. So we can see we have 2 rules already here. The top 10 were given a green background, and the bottom 10 were given what? A red background. So you can see these are the scores with the bottom 10. So imagine you being a school teacher, do you understand? And you are applying this kind of formatting to your students' average scores. It allows you to quickly know the students that are actually doing well and the students that are actually not doing well. Because we're already given a condition that, oh, I want to know the top students in my class, give it a green color. And I want to know the bottom students in my class, give it a red color. When you're going back to your data, immediately you will call. Like the person that has this 68.4 now, you know, oh, Lara Smith, it belongs to Lara Smith. Lara Smith is not doing well because she's actually at the bottom 10 of the class. So it still goes back to our definition where they said conditional formatting enables you to identify patterns. It enables you to identify patterns and trends. You can see this is a pattern or this is a trend. The pattern is the top 10 scores are in green, the lowest scores are in red. So let us go back to our conditional formatting. Let us continue. Yeah, someone is asking me. Someone is asking on the group chat. Ishaya is asking on the group chat if you can go above 10. I think I showed that. You can go above 10, you can go below 10. Let me show that again, please. Top 10 rules, and then we are in top 10. Yeah, I said you have the power to choose whatever you number. You can see now, I'm going to 20 this time around. I'm going to top 20 rather. And then I'm clicking on OK. You can see, if I should go, you can see the numbers increased. So all the cells in light yellow are actually, and in light red rather, are actually top 20. So please, let's go ahead. Let me clear my rules. Please remember, I said if you want to clear all this formatting, all you need to do is you scroll down, you come to clear rules, and then you clear the whole rules from the entire sheet. You clear the whole rules from the entire sheet, and they are all gone. So we are still applying more rules. Top 10% this time around. Top 10% is actually similar to top, because it is the same thing it's going to be asking you. Now, it's telling us format cells that rank in the top 10%. Format cells that rank in the top 10%. If you are clicking on OK, now you can see it is still highlighting those cells that rank in the top 10% of this whole average score. So I'll not be dwelling more on that. Bottom 10% is also similar to bottom 10 items in the sense that it will be returning the bottom 10. So I would like to go to above average and below average. Above average and below average. So let us start off with above average. So we click on that, above average. Please hold on. Now, if I want to, for this above average to work, now, what is the whole average of this whole data set, of this whole column? If you want to get the average of this whole column, right now, let us calculate the average using what we were taught earlier in the class. We want to get the average of this whole column. The average of this whole data set is 74.9. The average of this whole average column here. Let me do that again where we can all see. How I did that was just our average column. I believe we've all been taught this. I just got an average of these whole scores here. I calculated the whole average and I'm getting 74.9. So 74.9 is the average of all these scores that we have here. So now let us select and go back to our conditional formatting. I did this average because that is what I'm going to use to teach what I want to teach you now. The above average functionality in conditional formatting. So now let us select our average score and then we go back to conditional formatting, top bottom rows, and then above average. When we click on above average, please remember the average of this whole column, we've already gotten it as 74.9. We've already gotten our average as 74.9. And then we are choosing a formatting, a conditional formatting, which is telling us that it is only going to format the cells that are above average, which means it is only going to format cells that are above 74.9. It is only going to format cells that are above average. And what is our average? Our average is 74.9. That means it is only going to apply conditional formatting to cells that are actually above 74.9, which is the average. So let me choose my own custom column this time around. Let me choose something like this. Let me choose a light blue. And then I click on OK. And then I click on OK. So can you all see? All the cells that are actually selected are in blue because I applied blue. They are all above the average. They are all above 74.9, which is the average of this whole average score. So for example, a class teacher might actually use this and to actually get students that are actually above a certain average in the class. So right now, all these students are actually highlighted here are above 74.9. Please let me do that again. How I got the average of this whole column was just by doing our normal average is equals to average, and I selected the whole column and I got myself 74.9. And then I clicked on my column here. I came to conditional formatting, top to bottom rows, and then I chose above average. So what this above average is going to be formatting the cells that are actually above average. And what is the average of this column? It is 74.9. So automatically it's going to apply conditional formatting to cells that are above 74.9. And I told you I can actually choose my own custom color by going to custom formatting and then choosing any color I wish. and then I click on OK, OK. All cells with that color are all above average. So that's how it works. Let us finish up with below average. Below average, and then we click on below average. So it is like the opposite, vice versa. Now it's going to be selecting the cells that are actually below average this time around, which and our average is 74.9. Don't let us forget. Our average is 74.9. So it's going to be selecting cells that are actually below average. So let me give it another customized color. Let me give you something like, okay, maybe a light green this time around. And then I click on OK, and I click on OK. So you can all see all cells highlighted in green are below average, and all cells highlighted in is that pitch or what is it, are all above average. So that is so that is how above average and below average works in conditional formatting. So at this point in time, we've been able to cover, I just want to do a quick rundown. We're able to cover the first one, highlight cells rules. We covered everything here. And then top bottom rules also, we've also covered everything here. We'll be going to data bars. We're going to be going to data bars. So, but before that, let me clear my rules so that I have a fresh column. All right, so we go to data bars. Now, what do data bars do? Data bars are going to format your columns, your selected columns or rows, whichever may be. They selected by applying bars. We call it data bars. Now, let me click one. Can we all see? Now, these bars that are applied actually mirror the scores that they bear. For example, 82.7, we can see it is almost a full bar. You cannot compare it to the first one here, 69.7, which is slightly smaller. So the bars are mirroring the numbers that they are. The higher the number, the fuller the bar. The shorter the number, the shorter the bar. Let me let me manipulate some scores here so I can actually get a very low bar. So I can actually get a very low bar. So you can see now, let's look at this bar, 48.6 is almost is almost half because the number has reduced. So, like I said, the higher the numbers, the higher the bars, the shorter the numbers, the shorter the bars. If you take a look at a number like 85.6, you can see it's almost, if I should manipulate the scores and make these students score 100 in all our courses, please keep your eye on the bar. You'll be looking, see that the bar is getting fuller because the value on that bar is actually getting bigger. The value on that bar is actually getting bigger. You can see now we have a student scoring 100 with a what? Full bar. If I should change this person's scores all to 0, or maybe probably give it a low scores, please, you can see, keep your eye on the bar here. As I'm manipulating the scores, the bars will be reducing. As I'm reducing the scores, the bars will be reducing. Can you see? So we have the final, the average score of the person being 12.1, and then you can see, look at the bar. So this is also a very, very good way to identify trends and patterns in your data using conditional formatting. So we are still on conditional formatting, data bars. Now, every single bar here, they perform the same function. The only difference is in their colors. They all perform the same functions. The only difference there is in the colors. For example, this is giving a solid blue color. This is giving like a yellowish color. This is giving like a purple color. So they perform the same function. The only difference there is the color. So you can choose whatever color that you wish to use for yourself. So they perform the same color. So that is data bars. That is data bars for you. You can choose any one according to your preference. So we move on to color scales. Let me clear my rule. We move on to color scales. So in color scales, now color scales is also an example, is also another form of conditional formatting. And they format your conditions based on scale of color. They format your conditions based on scale of color. So let us choose the first one. Before I do that, okay, let me do that again. There's something I want to show you guys. So when I click on this first one, it actually has a name. Each scale here has a name. When I clicked on it, you can see the name of this one is green, yellow, red color scale. Green, yellow, red color scale. So now let us click on it. Now we can see it is applying those colors based on the scores. It applies the colors, each individual color based on the scores. Remember, we chose a green, yellow, and red color scale. So it applies those colors based on the scores. For example, look at this very, very low score of 12.1. It's applying a very red color to it. This very low score of 12.1 is applying a very red score to it because that was what that color scale we chose was green, yellow, red. So the green here, as you can see, the green here is being applied to the scores that are actually high. The green here is being applied to the high scores. And even if you take a good look, even the green colors, they vary. In the sense that this 82.7 has a very, very deep green color. 77.3 is also a high color, but it is actually a bit faint. The color is a bit faint. It is telling us that, yes, it is a high color, but it is a high number, but they are actually higher numbers, of which the higher numbers are darker in shade. The higher numbers are darker in shade. If you take a look at 87.4, it's very, very dark. It has a darker green color because it's actually much higher. You cannot compare it to 82.7. It's also a green color, but it is actually lighter. So it ranks these numbers in order of scale of color. The higher the number, the deeper the shade. The higher the number, the deeper the shade. As the number drops, the shade will be dropping, and then the color will also be changing. Now you can see we are having some yellow color, 74.9. These numbers have already dropped from the top ranked numbers. So it is applying a yellow color to it. Even the yellow colors also vary. If you take a look at this 74.9, where my mouse is, and compare it to 66.1, one is darker than the other. The higher one is darker than the lower one. And then when you now get to the lower numbers, 48.6 is a very, very low number. You can see the shade too. It's even still lighter than the one that has 12.1. So conditional formatting, as the name goes, color scales, as the name goes, it formats your data based on scales of color. It formats your data based on scales of color. Now, every single color scale you see here actually does the same thing. The only thing that changes are the scales of color. The only thing that changes are the colors. For example, now let us choose this one. This one is a red, yellow, green. Remember, the first one we choose was green, yellow, red. It started with green. That means it will be applying green to the highest scores, yellow to the lowest scores, yellow to the middle scores, and red to the lowest scores. That is green, yellow, and red. But right now, the next one is saying red, yellow, green. It is inverse. Is inversely proportional now, in the sense that red will now be applied to the high scores, yellow will be applied to the middle scores, and green will be applied to the low scores. So let us try that. Let us try the second color scale. Now you can see the second color scale, which is red, yellow, green. You can see that now the high scores are being represented with a red color, while the lower scores are being represented with a green color. So it's actually the preference of whoever is working with this data set to actually choose the color that they feel they are much more comfortable. But I feel the generally accepted color all over the world is to give a low score a red color and give a high color a green color. So if you go through everything, every single color scale has their own names. and their own applications. So for you to know, that's why I broke it down. The first color you're going to be seeing is going to highlight the numbers that are high, the highest numbers. The second color that comes after highlights the number that are in the middle range. And the last color that comes highlights the lowest colors. So everything does the same function. It's only the colors that change. So at this junction, I would like to take a time out, and I would like to give the floor to some of you guys to actually ask some questions based on what we've done so far. So please, if you have any questions to ask regarding what we've done, please signify by raising up your hand. I'm going to unmute you, and then you can address the whole class with your questions. If you have any questions to ask at this junction, please raise up your hand so I can unmute you, and then we can hear from you your questions. So please signify if you have any questions. I want to hear from you guys before we continue.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please go ahead. What's your name, please?
My name is Yao. Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, please, I want to find out that now that the average section has been colored, if maybe we want to count the number highlighted, maybe red, and then the number highlighted green or yellow, can we use let's say count or count if can we still go ahead, or it cannot be applied in this case?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for your question. Okay, so your count if function, do you understand? You applying your conditional formatting to days. They don't stop your count if functions. You can still go ahead and use your count if functions. They are still going to apply. What conditional formatting just does, conditional formatting just visually represents the data. For example, anybody saying this, do you understand? Even if they did not join this class from the beginning, anybody joining now and taking a look at this average score will know that, oh, this thing is actually represented in colors. And I think the green colors represent the high ones and the red color represents the low ones. That is what conditional formatting does for you. If you go to our slides here and take a look at the definition once again, it says it allows you to apply specific formatting to cells based on their value, making it easy to identify. That is the key word there, making it easy to identify patterns and trends. So that's what conditional formatting does. It doesn't limit your count if. You can go ahead and apply your count if, and you get the numbers, the people that actually score more than, yes, it's going to give you their number. That is count if. It's different. Count if is going to give you their exact number. Conditional formatting, we are not seeing the numbers. We are just seeing the people. We don't have their exact numbers. So they don't limit each other. There are two different functions and they can go hand in hand. So there are two different functions they can go hand in hand. So Ekinos is raising his hand, and you are unmuted now. Ekinos, please go ahead and answer your question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, is it possible to select the whole table and then apply the formatting at once?
Okay, all right. Thank you for your question. I'll answer that now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, so for those of us that didn't hear, he asked, is it possible to select the whole table and apply the conditional formatting? Actually, if you select your whole table like this and say you want to apply your conditional formatting, remember, in your table you have text. Your table, this particular table is comprised of text and numbers. And when I was touching each and every one, there was one that I specifically mentioned that it is only for text and is going to work for text. So using everything, highlighting everything and using a single formatting for them, it is not going to apply to those that has a text. Do you understand? For example, if you come to greater than, and then we are saying for the whole of the data set, is not going to work for those ones that are highlighted in text. So it is preferable to select your column or the row, whichever may apply, and apply your conditional formatting that you actually want to apply to it. So I think I've answered that question. So not only number. Onome is asking me not only number. If you joined earlier, I showed you the one that you can use for text. Let me go back there again. I think many people didn't see that, or maybe you were not paying attention. You can also apply your conditional formatting to text. Right now, I've selected this column, which is a text, and I come to conditional formatting. This is the only one that applies to a text. You can see it is boldly written there. Text that contains. Text that contains. So when you click on it, so you look for whatever you look for whatever you want to highlight. Maybe I want to highlight any student called Mike. Maybe I want to highlight any student called Mike, and then I apply my conditional formatting to it, and then I click on OK. So you can all see anywhere Mike is highlighted. Anywhere Mike is highlighted. So I think that's that for that. So I think I don't have other people. I think everybody was able to follow this and get this. Not many people are asking questions. Okay, all right. So if you still want to ask a question, you can still raise up your hand, and I will see if I can unmute you so that you can talk to us. So right now I go ahead with we are still on conditional formatting today. So let me clear my rules. Remember, if you want to clear your rules, if you are not if you don't want any rules anymore, maybe you're done with your work and you want to clear your rules, please you come here, clear rules, and then you clear it from your entire sheet. When I clear it from selected cells, if I should click from selected cells, it is only the cells I selected that will clear. For example, now I only selected average score. It's cleared, but I still have some rules here. The rules I applied here are still here. So if I want to clear that, I just come to clear from entire sheet. Okay, I can see some people before I go. Some people are still raising up their hand. Ekinos, I'm not going to unmute you again because you already asked the question. I'll give other people the chance to talk to us. Okay, Beatrice, you're next. I'm unmuting you now. Please go ahead. Beatrice, please go ahead. If you can talk to us, you have been unmuted. Beatrice, if you can talk to us, please go ahead. I've unmuted you. All right, let me give someone else. If Beatrice is not ready. Beatrice, are you ready? Let me give someone else a chance. Onome this time around. Onome,
Hello, sir.
please
Good
go ahead
evening,
with your
sir.
question.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay.
My question is,
Okay.
hello, sir.
Okay. I think. Wait. Let us take it one at
Good,
a
e
time. Let
good
us take
evening,
one.
sir.
I can hear both of you. I'm going to unmute you, Onome. So Beatrice, go ahead. Beatrice,
Okay,
go
good
ahead.
evening, sir.
Onome, you go after him. Beatrice, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Sorry. Well done for the good lecture. Mine is just unappealed. Even as I'm talking, I've not been feeling so well. I've been on admission. I've missed last two tests assignment I was given. I don't know. I was just been discharged this evening in Nigeria, in Gombe State, particular from the hospital. But I've been following every Friday and Saturday. I used to join just to listen to the lecture. I don't know if I
Okay,
can
Beatrice.
be given an
Beatrice,
opportunity.
do you have a
Sir.
question? Do you have a question on this class? Because that is only what I'm taking. If you have any other concerns, you can private chat the tutor. Do you understand? The only questions I want to hear is on today's class. So any other concerns, please private chat the tutor and it will be addressed. Thank you very much.
That's okay, sir. Thank you.
So Onome, please, I've unmuted you. Please go ahead with your question.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, Onome, please go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, yes. My question is on the conditional formatting. If you share the icon or that conditional, there's a one that said icon set. What is the functions? When do you use that icon set?
Okay, thank you, Onome. I have not yet taught icon sets. Do you understand?
Okay.
That is the next thing I'm going to teach. So
Okay,
please pay
okay.
attention.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. So thank you to everyone that took the time to ask us questions. We use that as a minor break from the lecture. So right now we're going to take a dive back into conditional formatting. We are almost getting to the end of conditional formatting. So like Anomoy said, the next one there is icon sets. The next conditional formatting is icon sets. So how do icon sets work? Like I said, for you to apply any conditional formatting, the first thing you have to do is to highlight wherever you want to apply your conditional formatting to. So you select your rows, you select your columns rather, and then you come to conditional formatting, icon sets. So icon sets use directional. They use direction, shapes, indications, and ratings to actually format the cells. Now let us start off with directional. If I choose this first one here, I only have 3 arrows here. I have 3 arrows, one going on, up, one showing the middle, and one going down. When I click on it, we can see now it has applied these arrows based on the scores also. It has applied these arrows based on the score. For example, we are having some arrows going up, which means they are actually high numbers, increasing numbers at the top. And then we're having a downward arrow, which means this value is actually decreasing, is depreciating. And then we're having an arrow showing to the right. It's actually like a medium value, like a medium value. It is not high and it is not low. It is not high and it's not low. It's going to apply all through the data set. This is another way to format your cells based on condition, and you can get it from icon sets. This is the first one. Now let us choose another set of arrows. Now this one is telling us 4 arrows. This one has a set of 4 arrows. It is the same set of arrows, but now it is 4 in number. Now, this time around, the arrow in front of 48.6 is actually showing that it's actually going down. It is not quite down, but it is telling us that it is actually a depreciating number. It's pointing almost downwards. And then we are still having some high scores. And then we have another one here. The one that my mouse is on, 68.4, is actually showing us that, okay, this number is actually peaking. It's not quite at the top, but it's going to the top. And then we still have our perennial down arrow. And then every other thing applies across the whole data set. So there are a whole lot of, I'm not going to be touching everyone because they are all going to do the same thing. Anyone you choose is going to apply. If you come to shapes, the same thing applies to shapes too. This time around, they are going to be in shapes, but they still retain the same color. The green ones for the numbers doing well, the red for the numbers doing poorly, and then the yellow for the numbers that are actually in the middle. So I would like to show you these ratings. Many of us will have seen this, they will have come across this one way or the other. Now, it's formatting the average scores based on ratings this time around. Let's just look at the top numbers. You can see like 70.3, 71.1, and so forth. They're all having full bars. They're all having full bars. We're going to get a place in Excel where we're going to be working with charts. We call these charts bar charts. We call it bar charts, so we call it bars. You can see all the top numbers, all the high numbers, the numbers that are actually doing well, that are high rank, they all have full bars. And then we have 48.6. We have 48.6 here that actually has like a half bar. Do you understand? Because the number is actually almost in the middle. And then we have 12.1 here, which is only having 1 bar here because it is a very low number. So it applies to, it is a very, very good way to also identify patterns, because anybody saying this now automatically knows that, oh, this one that has a very, very low bar is actually a low number. So let's go back there. We got that from icon sets. This is this is still a data bar. This is still a data bar. The same explanation appears to it. But right now you can see 12.1 right now has no bar. There is no bar attached there because it's a very, very low number. So let us try to round up and see which ones we've not covered. The same thing too, ratings. The same thing, ratings. When you're talking about 5-star rating, 4-star rating, 3-star ratings. You can apply your ratings, your star ratings to your data too. Because if you look at okay, now the stars here, the numbers in full, the high numbers, their stars are full, they are fully colored. Then we have a number like 48.6. You can see the color of the star has been it has been halved, it has been divided. And then we're having 12.1, which has no star at all. We have 12.1, which has no star at all. So this is another kind of formatting that you can actually apply to your data. You will find it under icon sets. Let me see. Let me try to pick the last one that we're going to highlight this night. This is called 5 quarters. So you divide your data set into quarters. You can see 48.6 is actually a half quarter. 70.3 is 3 quarters. It's 3 quarters full. And then we're having 74.3, which is a full quarter. The full circle is round. And then you see 12.1, our low number, which has no quarter at all. It's not colored at all. It has no quarter. So these are ways that you can use conditional formatting to actually identify trends and patterns in your data sets. These are ways that you can use conditional formatting to identify trends and patterns in your data set. So ladies and gentlemen, I would like to do a mini recap of everything we've been able to touch on this night. We started with highlighting cell rules, and we covered greater than up to duplicate values. For any of us that may have forgotten, the video of this lesson will drop shortly after the class, and we can avail ourselves of that opportunity to watch the video and actually remember what we talked about here. Top bottom rules also, we covered everything here from top 10. And here I told you that you have the leeway, you have the leverage to choose whatever top you want to do, whatever range you want to go, be it top 5, be it top 2, be it top 20. It is up to you, because there's a place for you to actually select the number that you want to use. And the same applies across board, top 10 to bottom 10, and here above average, below average. I also thought of that. And then we came to data bars. And I told you that data bars shows the data according to bars. The higher the number, the higher the bar. The shorter the number, the shorter the bar. And then color scales. This one is it shows based on the scale of the color. Based on the scale of the color. If you're choosing a green, yellow, red, the first color indicated, we highlight the high colors. The second color indicated highlight the middle colors, and the last color indicated highlight the low numbers. And then we finished up with icon sets. We have different types of icons here. All these belong in directional. The arrows, in the sense that they'll be pointing to the direction of the scores. Are some scores climbing up? Are some scores going down? Are some scores actually down? So your directional points you in the right direction. And then also shapes. We also use shapes to also indicate different kind of formatting. Indicators too. Indicators. They also they all follow the same principle. And then we ended with ratings. So ladies and gentlemen, conditional formatting brings us to the end of today's class. I believe most of us were able to grab this concept. It is very, very important. You are going to be doing a lot of conditional formatting when you start your work as a data analyst, because it allows you to quickly point out some data, get the actual fact of the data, visualize the data, know which data actually belongs to which, because immediately you're able to apply, be it color scales, be it data bars, to your data to actually get the true story behind your data. So ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's class. Tomorrow, we are going to be starting off with another concept, another very, very interesting concept. And God willing, we are all going to be here in good health and faith tomorrow. Okay, let me see if I can take any other question. Please, if you have any other questions, we can use the last few minutes to actually answer whatever question that you feel you need to ask. And I would like to apologize once again for the trouble we had earlier in the class. I hope that has been resolved and it won't happen again in the course of our Excel courses. Okay, so thank you, everyone. In the absence of no questions, in the absence of any questions, I'm going to end today's class, and I look forward to seeing you all here tomorrow. So thank you very much. Have a lovely night, and bye.